I am Kelly Lieberman, firefighter paramedic with the City of Phoenix. Yearly, we run on thousands of tragic incidents. And because of this, it's important that the community learn CPR. It's important to decrease fatalities and increase survivability within the community. And because of this, we have teamed up with Point Hilton Squaw Peak Resort and SRP. And with that, I'd like to introduce Tony Moya.
Thank you, Kelly. Did you know that SRP has been delivering more than water and power to the valley for 100 years? And one of the ways that we deliver more than water and power is through our SRP Safety Connection program. The idea behind the Safety Connection program is to educate, communicate, and build awareness about water safety to the community. Drownings can be 100% preventable. One of the ways you and your family can stay safe around water is to remember the ABCs of water safety. A is for adult supervision. B is for barriers to water. C is for classes, whether it be swimming or CPR. However, water safety does not end in the pool. Did you know that a child can drown as little as 2 inches of water? So please watch your children around bathtubs, toilets, or any other body of water. SRP also delivers water through our canal system. So whether you're out jogging, walking, or riding your bike, please stay away from the edge as they can be very slippery. And also, the current is much faster than it appears to be. For more information on water safety, please visit us at srpnet.com/safety.
In any CPR situation, the first step in the chain of survival is to recognize there's an emergency. Initially, you want to check responsiveness. This patient is non-responsive. We're also looking to see if there's rise and fall in the chest or if they're breathing of any sort. At this point, no responsive, not breathing, call 911 or delegate someone to do it. Also, have them bring an AED. If one is available, an automated external defibrillator will essentially restart the heart. It will shock it. Moving into CPR, the acronym is CAB, compressions, airway, breathing. Compressions is what we start with, to start the circulation. It is essential we put our palm of our hand, center of the chest, mid-nipple line. Proper hand placement, as you can see. Center of the chest, we are attempting to get 2 inches of depth at least on an adult patient. Fast and hard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. You recognize that my elbows are locked, my knees are as close to the patient as possible, and I'm using the upper body weight of myself to help get that depth. Once I've completed 30 compressions, I move on to the A in CAB, which is airway. Pinching the nose, head tilt, chin lift. We want to open up that airway and pull the tongue off the back of the throat. Mouth-to-mouth seal. You have to inflate these lungs. Picture yourself blowing up a balloon. You have to have a complete seal around the mouth in order to get the lungs to rise and fall with your breath. When I'm giving the 2 breaths, I'm looking to see if there is adequate rise and fall. If not, readjust the head, readjust the mouth, and try again. After you've completed compressions, open the airway and given 2 breaths, we continue to 30 more compressions. And we complete this cycle 5 times, reassess the patient, and keep going. You may be fatigued. If you can keep going, I recommend keep going. Do everything you can for that patient or until help arrives. With that being said, I want to make sure that everyone understands that people aren't just going to wake up after you do CPR. Again, the goal is to help keep the brain alive until advanced life support gets there and we can get this victim to a hospital. Moving on from adult to a child now. A child age ranges between 1 and 8 years old. And the only significant difference is that we're using one-handed CPR instead of 2. We don't want to have the depth and the weight over that smaller body. what we're doing, we can start with the same placement, mid-nipple line, center of the chest, putting the palm of your hand center. And also, you can do the head tilt method right here to help the air go in and out of the lungs. We're going to do the same amount of compressions to breath, 30 to 2. 1. After 30 compressions, you give 2 breaths, pinch the nose. 1, 2, looking for rise and fall. 30 compressions again. If you find it difficult to just use one hand compressions, you can also grab your elbow, lock, and do this. But again, it's compressions, airway, breathing. Moving on to infant CPR. An infant is from birth to 1 year old. And with any CPR we're providing, it is essential they are on a hard, flat surface. With an infant, we're actually able to bring them up to a table, which makes CPR easier, and I'll show you why. We will do the same acronym, CAB, compressions, airway, breathing. And what makes an infant different is that we're only going to be using 2 fingers. We locate mid-nipple line, center of the chest, raise the pointer finger, and we're using the middle finger and the ring finger to provide an 1.5 inch depth of compression at a hard, fast pace. We're doing 30 compressions. Once we do 30 compressions, we move on to A, which is airway. For an infant's airway, we want to have them in the sniffing position. Sniffing position being here, not all the way back, not too far forward. Sniffing position to make an inline airway. Once we have their head in a sniffing position, go ahead and make a complete seal around the nose and the mouth in order to get 2 adequate breaths. And adequate breaths mean to be small, small puffs of air. Their lungs are very small. Once you give your 2 breaths, we resume compressions again. And because with an infant, we can leave our hands in place, keeping our hand on to keep the airway in line and also on compressions, making it extremely fast. And you continue doing CPR until the patient is revived or help is there. In this segment, we're going to be discussing continuous compression resuscitation, or hands-only CPR. This is for adults and teens only in a witnessed cardiac arrest event. Not child drownings, not infant drownings, just adults and teens in witnessed cardiac arrest events. You could be at a hotel, you could be at a pool somewhere, at a baseball game, church, any location, but it has to be witnessed cardiac arrest. We need to keep circulating that oxygenated blood through the brain because it starts to die after about 4 to 6 minutes. And when a person has a cardiac arrest, they have about 4 to 6 minutes of pre-oxygenated blood already running through their body that can be extremely useful in keeping that brain alive. Our initial step is the same thing as the regular CPR. We're going to initiate 911, get advanced life support on the way. At this point in time, we look at the patient and we see they're not breathing, they're not moving, they're not responding. Start compressions. It's as simple as mid-nipple line, center of the chest, proper hand placement, 2 inches of depth, and just continue those compressions. And you stop when help has arrived, as in advanced life support, firefighters, paramedics, or another bystander can step in and relieve you. This can be a lot of work. But again, continual compressions.